Brando,
Unbelievable. How nervous were you?
I was at home and I screamed so loud when we caught that touchdown pass to win the game. It was or Bergen or all of the plays.
The emotional roller coaster from Bergen ripping the opening TD was just unreal. And then 3 plays later, we're tied at 7. It was an emotional punch in the gut. It was like that was the whole night.
It's up and down. That's what you want playoff games to be.
So crazy.
Thank you, Grizz, to our football team, Bobby Houck. We love you guys. One more week. And we are so pumped for this weekend. Last time that the Bison from North Dakota
Is it Bison?
State,
Buffalo,
whatever they are.
North Dakota State, Buffalo.
We don't care. Last time they were here, we had an epic.
Yeah, we have a problem.
We have a problem. Our producer is a proud grad.
You graduated? So wait, we need to put a little wager on this game.
Absolutely.
So I think I'd like to propose if Montana wins, when Montana wins, you and I continue doing this podcast.
Makes
the
sense.
Middle podcast continues. If NDSU Buffalo, if they win, we hire a new producer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Easy.
not.
Done.
Bring it on.
Okay.
No, we're excited for
but
the football
dude,
game this week.
It's just been fire. It was that game was awesome, electric. Looking forward to this Saturday.
Yeah. We got a really cool guest today that was also an athlete at the University of Montana.
He was.
Track stud.
Yeah, speaking of fire.
Yes.
He phenomenal athlete, super strong kid, went out, began his own journey of entrepreneurship. And he started a business called M-80 Chicken, which again, straight fire. The best hot, or is it Nashville hot chicken or hot Nashville chicken?
Nashville
hot chicken. You will have this side of,
I can't answer that, but it's really good.
Great Divide, Mississippi. I don't know. Phenomenal. Great conversation of just hearing how chicken sandwiches are made and impacting the community and making a difference, and the obstacles that it took to start a mobile business here in Missoula. So should we dive in, or do you want to make any more jabs at NDSU?
No, man. We don't even need to talk about them. Go Grizz. Excited. On your way to the Grizz game, go ahead and get a M-80 chicken sandwich.
Do it. The Cadillac. Phenomenal. So good. Get yourself a Cadillac. Go Grizz. Here's Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson, thanks
Howdy.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Dude, I'm so excited for you to be here. I'm kind of a diva when it comes to chicken sandwiches.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
can tell.
always my go-to. And so having the owner, founder, originator of M-80 Chicken in studio is awesome. So thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Before we get into M-80 and all that you're doing here in Missoula, I want to go back to just your story. You earlier you mentioned you're originally from Billings, Montana.
Yes,
How
sir.
old were you when you came to Missoula?
I came up for college, so I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah. Came up to do track up here, and
Really? What'd you do in track?
I did shot put, discus, hammer.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you're not built like a
No, I'm not a
sprinter.
distance runner.
You're a distance runner.
Yeah. No. So yeah, I did that, and I was up here for 5 years doing that. So
Okay.
So you graduated from the university here?
I did. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I've been here ever since. You know, I just
what'd you
love
get a
the town.
degree in?
Business administration. Did a little bit of an entertainment management certificate too in there.
All right.
Nice.
Growing up in Billings, what did your folks do? What was your background there?
Yeah. So my dad grew up in a town kind of next to like Huntley Project. If you guys are familiar with that area, called Warden. So a little farming community. He's a little bit older, so he's got a lot of like old school values. Had me pretty late in his life, but yeah, we grew up in Billings. He worked in insurance. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and just, you know, traditional kind of upbringing, just going to school, playing sports, doing whatever, trying to get a scholarship to go to college.
It's awesome.
You know,
Did you grow up wanting to do track and come to the University of Montana, or you would have went anywhere?
Yeah. So I was kind of just looking for some way to get into college and pay for it. I liked doing track. I loved it. I grew up doing it. I liked football better, but just turned out not to quite be my thing. So I didn't like play my senior year or anything like that. Just kind of focused on track. I did wrestling too. And then, yeah, got here. I was like a late ad too. So I wasn't sure if I was even going to go to college for sports or anything. My junior year, right before state, I like blew out a ligament in my hand, my throwing hand. So I was like not totally sure if I was even going to recover, be able to do anything with it. So kind of put that all on the back burner. And then I think like a month before school started here, the coach called me up and was like, "Hey, are you still looking anywhere?" I was like, "Yes, please. Yes, please." I was like, "Go to Missoula. Perfect. I'm in," you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so following school, obviously you said you stayed here in Missoula. What was it about Missoula that kept you?
I mean, it's just such a cool community. Like, you know, it's a cool mountain town. It's not like an Aspen place or anything. You know, growing up in Billings, it's a nice place, good place to raise a family. But I was like a little angsty teen kid, you know, and I was like, you know, get me out of my hometown, whole thing. And Missoula was like a perfect location to come and kind of do my own thing, but still be, you know, close to family. You know, like I always go back for Thanksgiving, Christmas, you know, at least a couple times every 2 months, something like that, just to go say hi.
Go ahead.
I want to jump back to being a track athlete.
Okay.
What's the best thing about being a track athlete at the university? It doesn't seem like it's as much work as the other sports, but I could be wrong in that.
So it's funny you say that. Like, that's kind of the thing I like about it is that you can put in as much effort as you want. You're still held to a standard, you know, like one of my biggest role models is the head coach there, Schwain. He's not there anymore, but Brian Schwain, you know, huge influence on me. He always has like a philosophy of, he's a little bit gentler as far as it comes, like not necessarily discipline, but coaching. He's not going to be the guy that's yelling in your face. As long as you know what you're doing and you're trying to improve, he's there for you. He's like on your team. And that was the biggest thing for me, was the culture was laid back, but it had all the tools that you needed to succeed. So that was like my big draw. I don't love, you know, someone in my face yelling at me for something I already know I did wrong. And, you know, maybe that's just a little bit of my own thing, but
I get it.
I just fit in well, like the coaching staff, like my teammates. And I was like, there's nowhere else I want to be. So
I'm not a real empathetic person typically. But I do have a little bit of empathy for the track athletes, because the community doesn't like get behind the track team. Like you see a football player, you know, at the gas station, or you see one of the basketball guys and you're like, oh, but then you see a track athlete and it's just so dismissed as, oh, they just run track.
It's just a little bit removed from the norm, you know, like it's no
you guys are
deal.
D1 athletes competing for Big Sky Conference, and
you
guys traveling and putting in, I mean, your training is really behind the scenes. Nobody sees the
you know, effort. It was a lot, you know, like we would have lift at, you know, 6 a.m., you know, 3-4 days a week, depending on part of the season. And then you also have practice for 2 hours on top of that every day. And so it's a little less structured because there's, you know, 70 kids on the team or whatever. But, you know, you're still getting your, you know, one-on-one coaching and practice. And then what you do on your own time is a whole other thing. So, and I was really, you know, I had a year I was really locked in, really focused. I'm doing the 6 a.m. lift. I'm doing practice. I'm like dieting. And then I'm going and doing my own lift in the evenings, you know, 8 to 10. So it's like,
whoa,
it's the same thing. You can do as much as you want. You're still held to a standard, but it's kind of on you. It's an individualistic sport, even though it's a team one. Everyone needs to do their specific job, kind of like football, but you know, there's 50 pieces to it instead of 22 or 30 or whatever.
As you look back on your career there, what's one memory that sticks with you that you really loved and enjoyed about your experience?
Oh man. It's tough. There's a lot. There's a lot of like individual performances that I feel really proud of. You know, making certain marks for myself and then getting those accomplishments. That was great. But as far as like a big thing, I think maybe my freshman year, we went to NAU for conference. And that was kind of the first time I ever got like a real, you know, long travel with the team. You know, team bonding stuff is the end of the season. So everyone kind of lets loose a little bit after the tournament's done. You know, everyone's staying in the hotel. There's a lot of goofing off, doing all this. And it was like, I was like, man, I'm here. Like, this is awesome. This is like such a cool thing. I'm like really excited to move forward with it. So that was one of the big ones.
After college, where'd life take you? What did you work?
Yeah. So, like I said, I did entertainment management as part of my degree, got my certificate in that. My last 2 years of school, I was actually interning for a talent agency based out of LA. So I was like routing tours for musicians. And so it was like kind of a sales gig. It was a commission, take home.
Who were you working with? What musicians?
A lot of rappers. So I was kind of all over the place. I was booking shows for a guy named Mickey Fax for a while. It was all like everywhere else. We worked with a band called Lost Dog Street Band, who's played opening for the Wilma a few times. Just kind of all over the place. I routed a tour for K Camp a few years back, and then actually got to go see him in Billings for a show. And yeah, so it was kind of all over, really.
That's awesome.
Did you enjoy that?
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's it was good. It just wasn't totally feasible for me wanting to make money. I wanted to make money now, and then I had one. Like I said, you eat what you kill, right? So there's no hourly pay. It's just when everything gets booked, you do all the paperwork, and then 3 months from then, they actually start going out on the tour. And then that's when you start seeing the numbers come in on the back end. You start seeing problems, or you start seeing things getting canceled. And, I booked like 14 dates for this one guy. And then about a month before he was supposed to go, called us up and was like, hey, not going to do it. Sorry. It's like, cool. There's a month of work, thousands of dollars out of my pocket. And that was when I was like, okay, I need to do something more stable. The music industry is great. I love it. I like playing bands my whole life, but it just wasn't totally feasible at the time. So I kind of had to move on from that.
Yeah. Take us back into that. How did you, or where was your start in music? What kind of bands were you in? What do you play?
So I started playing guitar when I was in, I think, 7th or 8th grade. Just kind of self-taught, learning tabs for songs I liked. And then never got to play in bands totally. It was always just like writing and doing my own thing until I was like a senior in high school. Started playing with some friends, and we played in this pop punk band called Carlton. It was like all the media was about, Carlton Banks and stuff like that. And
nice.
Just goofy stuff. A lot of fun. But yeah, I played guitar in that. When I was in college, I played for a band called Newlyweds. I played bass for them, and we ended up doing like a end of the band like national tour thing. So that's actually where I like discovered Hot Chickens. We were in Memphis.
Okay.
And we're just kind of bumming around the city doing whatever before the shows, and had chicken. I was like, whoa, this is it. I was like, this is great.
Do you have the Hattie B's when you were down there?
No, it wasn't Hattie B's. It was like a hole in the wall place. I don't even remember the name, but we were just like roaming around. We're like, oh, that place is busy. Yeah. Let's go in there.
Have you had Hattie B's?
I have not. Okay. I've had Prince's.
What'd you think?
I like it a lot. It's so good. Yeah.
Other than M-80, where's your favorite? What's the best you've had?
I mean, I think it has to be Prince's for sure. I mean, I personally think they have a better product than we do. But, they've been doing it a lot longer, and they have a lot more going into it than we do.
That's the bar you're going for.
Yeah, right? Totally. Like, why not like something that's better and try to get to that point?
Yeah. Huh. Well, where did you go after you were booking shows? Where did your journey lead you after that?
So I was doing that, and I was working part-time at Pie Hole. Just, only like 25, 30 hours a week kind of thing, just to pay the bills while I was doing my other stuff. And then
did you have the 3 a.m. shift at Pie
Hole? No. No, I'm a morning person. Okay. So I would get in there, I'd get my nice 3 hours of prep, not having to deal with people, a little bit of customer service, and then I was out of there. Awesome. The 3 a.m. ones, I worked a couple night ones up until 9. I was like, this is pushing it for me. I'm not built for that.
Do people really like working that night shift, or is it kind of, you put it on the new person?
Well, it's money. Oh, that's where you're making real money, is if you're doing that. So you got like a Pie Hole lifer that's in there, and they're just used to it. They live in the chaos constantly, and they wake up in the afternoon, come there, and they're closing at like 4:30.
That can't be good.
Who was it recently on the show that talked about Pie Hole? What's their favorite go-to? Trozzolino. That's right.
Oh yeah, because he works nights.
Yeah, works nights, and nothing better than a hot piece of pizza at 2 a.m.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
So was that your first introduction into the food industry?
Um,
Was Pie Hole, or did you
no,
done anything before
I
that?
worked at Red Robin as like a busser expo guy when I was right after high school. So I did that for the summer until I moved up to Missoula. So that was like my first inkling at it, but definitely a different vibe. Pie Hole than Red Robin and Billings. But so I did that, and but after Pie Hole and stuff, I ended up getting a sales gig at ClassPass. So I was there for just about a year until the accident happened. COVID.
Oh,
yeah.
Did that shut down ClassPass or what? I don't hear much about ClassPass.
Yeah. So during COVID, we kind of got put on furlough, and then they just didn't hire a lot of people back. They kind of minimalized their staff. As far as I know, it's still, I think it got bought out by MindBody or something like that. I'm not totally sure. So
what was that job like? Did you difficult?
Yeah, man. It's cold calling. It's working 45 hours a week in an office is kind of its own battle in itself. For me personally, I like to be up and moving around doing stuff. But yeah, like you have your quota of calls to make. It's good money. Good money if you're doing well. Yeah. So that part I liked.
Yeah. You must have had some success at it.
Yeah. Yes and no. It 1 month up, 1 month down. Yeah. Sales gigs, kind of how it goes. I know you mentioned being in sales, but for us, like a lot of the territories were a big deal. Sometimes you get assigned to New Jersey, and there's been 5 reps on it this year already. And you got to do what you got to do. But yeah.
So after the furlough, what'd you do during the COVID years?
So as soon as we got furloughed, I was kind of already leaning towards looking to do something else, and I wasn't sure what. I was kind of thinking like maybe it's time to like strike out, do something on your own. And I was like, okay, what can I do? I don't have any money. I don't have like a ton of business savvy to like go through the whole loan process and get a full business plan together. I was like, okay, what's like a perfect way to do my own business with not a lot of overhead and, do something that I enjoy to do. I was like, food truck, no overhead. You like cooking, you're good at it. You have a cool recipe for something that's not quite here yet. And it's very popular in like a lot of major markets. So I always had my eye on that. And then once I had time during the pandemic to literally just sit at home and tinker with recipes and, cook meals for me and my wife and just hang out, I was like, I think I could do this, Started looking at trucks and, a buddy of mine is a mailman, and he ran across a truck in a yard that wasn't even listed. And it was like the perfect thing for us. Used to be the old Ninja Mike / Golden Yoke griddle truck. Yeah. Ethan, the owner of there, was awesome. Just went up with him and it's like talking about my ideas. He's like, oh yeah, sounds great, man. Like this might be a good option for you. And gave me kind of like the Missoula homie discount on it. And he was just really happy to see it go to someone in the community. So that was like, wow. Even just that interaction, I was like, cool, this is a part of the community I want to be involved in. Like this guy has his own things going on. He doesn't have to be nice to me, but he's like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to come back to M-80 chicken, but let's hop in our rapid 5, rapid 7. I don't know how many questions we have anymore. It evolves from show to show.
Okay.
Questions for you, Nick. When you came to Missoula, to the University of Montana, what was your first initial memory of Missoula?
Yeah, so I came on a visit like I think maybe 2-3 weeks before school even started. And I just remember going down what is it, 3rd? Like going towards the Adams Center, whatever street that is, just like the cool trees, and it was like this awesome neighborhood. It was like fall, like leaves on the ground stuff, and I was just like, man, this looks really cool. Like this is a place that I really want to be at. And even just coming in there and like being surrounded by the mountains, it's different than what I'm used to, and it just felt like home.
What's your favorite go-to coffee spot?
Ooh, it's got to be Le Petit.
Oh,
get a little scone action.
Just right around the corner.
Oh, yeah, I'm there every day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Walk there. I know everyone there. Shout out to them. They're awesome. They take
awesome.
care of us, and they know me and my wife by name, all the employees. And it's a nice little spot.
So great. Our next question here is always, what's your favorite restaurant in Missoula? So
Okay.
I'm putting an asterisk on this one. You can't say M-80 chicken.
Yeah, I would never do it. Yeah.
What is your go-to? What's your favorite food in Missoula?
It's a sad story for me. I was a huge fan of Second Set,
Mm.
and they just kind of closed their doors, and I got to talk to them a little bit right before then, and hopefully there's something on the horizon, but I think it's just going to kind of take the right opportunity. I don't know. But I would love to see them go in another spot. They made some awesome food.
So with them closed, who's your close second?
I mean, this is gonna sound silly, but I love going to Flippers and getting like a cheeseburger. Like they're consistent.
You
It's
just like
good.
that neighborhood. That's like
I
home
do.
for
I
you.
do.
That's
I know.
That's it.
I know. It's just
What zip code do you live in?
802.
802.
Yep. I live downtown.
I'm trying to start turf wars. I think 59803 is the healthiest, strongest.
You would
in
think
a
that,
war
huh?
we would win.
Exactly. I'm a 59804 guy. Get out in the country a little bit.
I
You
see,
like
I
it
see.
downtown?
Oh, I do. I walk everywhere. The only problem is like finding parking for the truck. So I don't have like a big garage or like a driveway. I live in a townhome, so I literally have to park it downtown.
Nick, to you, what is the weirdest thing about Missoula?
Weird. I don't know. It's not too weird. I guess maybe that's just because I'm weird. Like I see stuff. I see someone like going down the street in roller skis, and I'm just like, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, what is that? Are those
I don't
are
know.
those people, are they training for like cross country skiing? Are they?
They're training for something.
I saw a rollerblader the other day, just decked out rollerblades, just ripping down.
It's coming back.
Down South Avenue.
yeah.
I was like, wow,
It's back.
it's crazy.
Yeah, you do get a little used to the weirdness after a while.
Yeah, totally.
Like
It
10
was
years in, you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, originally, like I had my parents up here a little bit ago, and like my mom saw someone doing that and was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." I was just like, "Yeah, there's a guy going."
Yeah, because people in Billings don't walk around.
No.
It's too spread out.
You're driving everywhere
yeah,
there for sure, but yeah, you're also not rollerblading
Yeah,
down
exactly.
Shiloh.
What do you love most about Missoula?
I mean, I already kind of hit it early, but the community's awesome. Like even just meeting you guys, like you just came to the truck one day and you're like, "Hey, this looks cool. Do you want to like chat?" I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? So you just meet people. Everyone knows each other a little bit. So you get to have the conversation. It's like, "Oh, you know this guy?" Like, oh yeah, we golf together. We do this together, whatever. It's like everyone's entwined. Everyone's nice. I'm happy.
Nick, is there a book that you've read or currently reading that has made a huge impact on your life, or a book you always go back to, or in school? Like, what's a book that's framed you into who you are?
Fellowship of the Ring. Lord of the Rings, it's a classic. I grew up watching those movies, and then kind of a few years back, I was like, I'm going to read these. I'm not a huge reader, to be completely honest, but got through those. And I mean, that's like my whole identity as during our wedding, we came out to, what is it? The Shire song. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na,
That's awesome.
So it's
what's
like,
better, the book or the movies? Is the book
tough, really tough? I think the book is objectively better. There's just so much that if you're focused on it, and you're like, the way I approach it is like, this is going to be a challenge for me. Like I said, I'm not a huge reader.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to try to really focus, only read when I'm like really ready to take this in, and is rewarding. There's so much stuff in there.
Well, yeah.
So cool.
What was like the general feeling or something that you got out of the books? You're like, this is incredible.
I mean,
and enough to have it in your wedding.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I mean, my wife's a fan of the movies too. And I don't know. I'm just like kind of a fantasy dork. Like I play Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, and
awesome.
I don't know. It was just like something about it is really homey to me. And
if you were a character in Lord of the Rings, who would you be?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm a Gimli guy. Yeah. Big fan. Big fan of that guy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Stubborn.
Yeah.
Bit of a beard.
Yeah.
So you have this desire. You find a food truck and you launch M-80 Chicken.
Yeah.
Why chicken? Why M-80? What's the backstory?
Well, why chicken? First off, hot chicken. There's a couple places in town that would like have it. kind of as like a special or something, but nowhere was like doing it consistently. And I was like, I'm pretty positive my recipe for this is better, you know?
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. How'd you come up with the recipe? Is this
I
like
mean, that's just
secret family recipe or what?
no. It's just, honestly, it's a very simple recipe. I don't do anything out of the ordinary with it. It's just a few spices mixed with the fryer oil, but learning how to like actually cook chicken in a way that it's continuously good and consistent is kind of like where I think we do a good job of. And that's kind of the difference as far as what it is. Like that was my whole goal, was like, I didn't want to have some like weird recipe or take on it. I just wanted to do the thing the way it's supposed to be done. And hopefully, we've done that, but, yeah, I mean, it's just like cayenne, a few different spices, nothing
Awesome.
crazy.
Sweet.
You could probably Google it and come up with the same exact thing I have,
It took you a while to tinker and mess with the recipe, I'm sure.
Yeah. So
then
you're
got it locked in.
adjusting, but the core of it is like super simple, basic food. And that's the kind of food I like. That's the kind of food I want to give people,
When did you launch? When did you get started?
September, I want to say like 15th, 16th of 2020. Yeah. Or no. Yes. Yeah. 2020. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're 3 years in.
Yeah. 3 years in.
Okay. Tell us about that whole process of finding a place to be, permits, all the challenges that you didn't think were there that happened. Go through that story.
Yeah. So there's a lot of sleepless nights, just being so stressed out about like, oh, what did I get this permit in? Did I do this? Did I order this on time? Because there's so many things happening. Because from when I had the idea, it would have been late April, and then we launched in September. So I was like cramming everything together and just learning as much as I could. Even going and doing the classes to get like my ServSafe certification for food handling, and to be able to like make a program for employees to follow to cook things properly, especially chicken. Like, let's be honest, chicken's poison if you don't cook it. So like being super safe in that regard, just working with the health department straight up from the beginning. They're awesome. Like, as long as you're upfront with them and you tell them what you want to do, they give you everything you need. You just gotta do the things you're saying you're doing. Right. So, I like the people over there. They made the process pretty easy for me, or a huge help. But other than that, it's, kind of building the business plan out, saying, okay, how much does all this cost? What am I going to realistically look at? I was going to like different food trucks around town and just watching. I'd sit there for like 3 hours in my car and just watch a food truck and see how many people came. And like, okay, I can kind of get a framework, built out a business plan for 3 different ways. I was like, this is what it looks like if I do bad under a certain amount every day. This is what it looks like if I'm doing okay. And here's what it looks like if I'm doing really good. So just building all that out. Lot of repairs going on the truck, making sure that's all running, getting the equipment I need. I had to put in a hood vent, and a fire suppression system, which is all stuff I did not know I needed when I first started. And I think that would cost like, I don't know, $8,000-$10,000 to do.
Wow. I mean, I don't think about it. Like a food truck, like if your transmission goes out, your business goes out. Like, it's not just like a light goes out in the restaurant and you have to it shuts you down.
You have to keep the two things running separately.
Yeah.
So
when you launched, I mean, that first day when you opened up the window, flipped the lights on, was there a line of people waiting to buy your chicken, or did you open it and just sit there in total disappointment?
No, it was chaos. It was a madhouse. It was nuts. So the big plan we kind of had was, and this is also credit to my wife. She works in digital marketing here in town. And so she has a really good mindset for what we need to do to get some hype built up around this. And, like, we have a lot of friends in Missoula, and everyone was really willing to be like, oh, cool, here's this thing, my friend's doing, share it, put it all around. But one of the big things is we have a good friend of ours that does food photography for a living. And so we paid her to come over, and we just had like a, big feast of chicken. We made, all these things look so good, and she took real professional photos. And actually, we actually did this before we even reached out to anywhere, to set up, because I wanted to have it was almost like a prototype, be able to send a packet to, these different breweries or bars or whatever and go, hey, I can do this. I can provide this for, whoever, like what days are available, all of that. So we got a big suite of, really quality photos together for it. And we just, made an Instagram, started doing just marketing through that. And I mean, we opened the door, and I think it was around, so you're familiar with where we are, right?
Yep.
So where our truck is now is where it was. Hasn't really moved in 3 years.
Which is what, for the listeners, corner of Myrtle and Fifth?
Myrtle and Fifth, yeah.
Yep.
Right next to
behind Big Dipper and
yep.
by
Myrtle Street Brewing now. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Myrtle Street Tap House.
There it is.
Huge shout out to those guys. I love them.
Cool.
How'd you end up there? Like, how did you land?
Email them our stuff.
Is that their parking lot that you're in? They own that, or okay?
Yeah, they lease it or whatever, but it's like their spot. So yeah, they were just really willing to give us a shot. They had a few trucks come in, and they weren't really happy with how much traffic the trucks said they weren't like quite as happy as they would like to be. And I was like, cool, I'm willing to do whatever. I like the spot. It's close to my house. Like, this makes total sense. And when I reached out to them, they were the first place to get back to me, and they're like, perfect. When do you want to be here? We don't have anyone booked for the next couple months. So like, whatever you want, we're happy to do. And I was like, this is perfect. Being able to have a spot that's like a hub, like, I don't think a lot of people understand all of the back end work that goes into doing the food truck thing, especially when you're prepping and cooking everything inside the truck and not a commissary kitchen, is like having a spot where you don't have to drive for 30 minutes and then untie everything from the walls and, get it set up. Like, it saves hours a day. And when you're working 16 hours a day in the start, it's, those 2 hours are nice to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started working with them. They were awesome. We just started doing good business there, and people liked us, kept coming back. But yeah, going back to that opening day, that was like the biggest anxiety attack I think I've ever had, because we opened and I was planning on doing I don't know, top maybe 40 sandwiches, and then we had some combos, but I made a reasonable amount because, to be fair, our business model was to be a sellout type of place. I've seen all the barbecue spots have that model, and it works. You get people that are really committed to being regulars with you. They know exactly when to show up. And they treat it more of like a treat for themselves than going to McDonald's and expecting, everything all at once, which I was like, this is going to be the most manageable. It's going to be the best way to move forward for us, being is that, I'm not sure how this thing's going to go. Right. Let's start small and ramp up. And we opened the window, and the line's past the Myrtle Street Tap House.
Whoa.
So that's probably 40 people total sitting there. And I was like, oh no. I was like, okay, I just got to make sure everything's good quality. And I think we sold out in 30 minutes.
Unreal.
Whoa.
Yeah. So some people were upset, but like I said, Missoula is an awesome place, and almost everybody there came up and were so happy for you. This is so cool. Even people that didn't get food, they were like, we'll be back here tomorrow. We're ready.
Yeah. Well, that's how you and I got connected. So I want to ask you about that. Because almost daily, or the 4 days that you're open on Instagram, you guys are posting, sold out. That's it. We're done for the night. And I've always wondered, why not get more chicken? Why not meet, the demand?
Yeah.
Because my first time at M-80, went over there. It was you guys are open till, I don't remember what your hours are. You open till 8, 8, and got there at 7:30 and walk up to the window, and I'm told by Nick, hey dude, sorry, we're closed for the night. Come back tomorrow. And I was like, hot chicken is my thing.
Oh man.
So went over to Chick-fil-A and got a spicy chicken sandwich. And then I posted it on Instagram and tagged him.
Yeah, man,
and was sure to let him know. But then the next night opened at 5, and I think 5:15 was there.
Yep.
And but why that model? Why do you want to sell out rather than, hey, sell a few more sandwiches?
Yeah, no, I remember you posting that. I messaged you. I was like, I'm so sorry, dude. We will get you next time. I promise it's going to be worth it. But I mean, that's my philosophy with that is I hate wasting food. And with the parameters that we work under with the health department and just, providing good quality food. I don't like to reuse food. If we don't sell something that night, we throw it out because reheating it the next day, it doesn't work. It doesn't have the same kind of, consistency. It doesn't have the same quality our whole thing is quality, like I'd much rather give a good product out and have someone come back as a regular, even have you come back the next day, make a connection with you and say, hey, I'm sorry about it. We'll get you next time. Maybe throw in some fries the next day. Like that's a better business model in my head than trying to maximize profit versus
Well, one of the things I love that you guys do is your menu is small. It's simple.
Yep.
You know what you do and hold to that. And I don't know if you have plans on expanding or doing more, but you go to some of these restaurants or food trucks and they've got 25 different options, which tells me everything's mediocre. They don't specialize in one thing. And I love that you got what, 2 chicken sandwiches, 2 types of chicken sandwich, and then combo. Like if you're adding fries to that, and then you'll have your occasional special. But I love that you guys know what you do and just own it and stay in that space.
Well, yeah. And that's kind of was my thought process going into it, is like, I want to have the chicken do all the talking. I don't want to have, a million different sides that eat up a profit margin, but also time. It takes a lot to do a good job in just making the chicken. I was like, why don't we make this the best? We'll get good things to go with it, but there's going to be 4 options, right? Mm-hmm. You go up, you say, originally I was like, I want to just have 1, 2, 3, 4. I want someone to come up and go, I'll go 1 with fries, please. And it just, especially when you're working like Brewfest or big events, which we do a lot of, narrowing that down honestly makes the line move faster. We get product out quicker because we don't have a million different subs to add in. Mm-hmm. We go, hey, you can have this with or without the stuff on it. You could also have this with or without the stuff on it. That's kind of your options. So makes our line move faster, which means we get more people in on those big events because shorter line, people are willing to try anything, especially after a few drinks at a Brewfest. They're like, what's the closest thing? Where can I get food fastest? So that was kind of our thought on it. And it's turned out to be kind of a win for us. People respect it. And, of course we've had people come by and they're upset that, we're closed early or whatever, but if they're really,
or their hot chicken's hot, it's too hot.
Yeah. We got to be careful with that one. Cause some people come up and if I've never seen them order the extra spicy or anything before, I always make sure I'm like, how are you, how do you handle spice?
How hot is your chicken sandwich? When people ask you that, how do you?
The regular?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our like baseline, I would say between a 5 and a 6 out of 10, 10 being like a finite number. Like if you eat it, your stomach's going to hurt and you're going to be crying. Right. So that's what I like to base it off of. And then we have the option to do the extra spicy, which is our same mix, but we add in some dry rub Carolina Reaper powder. So it still has the same taste, still tastes good, but that's when you're getting the, beads of sweat. You're doing the watching your eyes.
You go with an 8 with that, or 9?
8.5. Okay. I would say. Wow. Like it's definitely not something I do daily or weekly. Yeah.
How often do you eat your product?
Oh man, come on. How often do I eat fried chicken? You're gonna make me call that up.
All right. Okay. No, you answered it already. Thank you.
Yeah. It's. I'll tell you this. It's hard for me not to eat it every day. Even just like a little snack here and there. Yeah. But a little snack turns into me making myself a sandwich. Yeah. And sometimes it's once a week. Sometimes it's 3.
It is good. Yeah, phenomenal chicken sandwich. I think I'll just come out and say the best in Missoula.
Wow.
Best chicken sandwich.
Whoa, big words.
Big words.
All right.
Yeah. You hear that, best in Missoula?
That means a lot.
That's right. Next year, best chicken sandwich. I know, seriously,
thanks,
it is very, very good. And the fries, the portion of fries, you guys compete with 5 guys on the amount of fries thrown in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we try to give people what they want.
It's really good.
If you, I think this is the last question. If you could do it again, would you do it?
Totally. I love what I do, honestly. Not to say that it's not hard and it's not a job sometimes, but I mean, just the experience I've had, it's like I've made so many cool relationships with people. I'm super proud of the product we put out, and yeah, couldn't be happier with it, man.
Remind us of your hours. When are you guys open?
Wednesday through Saturday at Myrtle Street Tap House. Will be 5 to 8 unless we sell out first.
5 until they sell out, which they will.
Hey, you can order online.
Oh, wow.
Order online, reserve your time.
You know what? that night I almost ordered online and thought, oh no, we'll just run down there. It's almost 7:30.
I know.
And got there and I was like, my wife said that if we would have just ordered online.
It stings.
But,
I know. But then it probably made it even better the next day.
It was so good. It was so good.
The anticipation.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, seriously, dude, thanks for taking time out. I know you're
for sure.
busy during the week prepping and getting ready for the weekend.
Yeah, man.
But no, just appreciate you and great meeting you and just love another success story.
Oh, thanks, guys.
And if you have not tried M-80 chicken sandwich,
I'm coming.
We'll see you there.
Make it happen.
I'll bring my wife.
Perfect. All right, good.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right, first one's on me.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
I'll get you two at some point.
I want a t-shirt.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we got
shirts.
some floating around.
I want a shirt.
Yeah.
Those are awesome. So
Nice.
sweet dude. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it,
Thanks
Nick.
for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick.